Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole, and tonight is the night we have predictions night. We have predictions for the AEW Revolution. No, not Revolution. It's AEW. We have the pay per view. We have it. It's a brand new pay per view, and we're going to discuss it here tonight and the predictions. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we also going to talk about Mr. McMahon and the return of Mr. McMahon. We're going to talk about Bailey's contract situation. We're going to rewind Dynamite. So we got all of that. All of that. We have redemption on pay per view. Of course, we also have other things as well. Sorry, I'm late, but it's late, better late than never. It's the wrestling experience, and it's on the air, and it's starting right now. All right, folks, welcome back to the Wrestling Experience. Make sure that you hit that like button. You hit that like button and you subscribe today. I greatly appreciate it. And Daniel Meredith Sports, how's it going today? Happy Thursday to you. And King, how's it going? Thank you in the chat. And ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome back the man, the myth, the legend. Hologram is here with Adam. All right.
Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing
Hologram.
on? Is this thing on? Hello.
Hologram, welcome back to the wrestling experience. It's been a long time. And how are you doing?
It's been a very long time, my friend. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's very good to see you, Hologram. I mean, this wrestling has been arduous to say none the least, ladies and gentlemen. It's been
It feels like
arduous.
I haven't seen you in like 3 years.
I know, and it's
That's how
always
bad
good to
wrestling's been. That's how bad
yeah,
wrestling.
yeah, and it's always good to see you. It's always good to see you, and I'm glad that you're doing well. And I'm glad that you're here tonight because we've got a pay per view this Sunday with AEW. We got to do those predictions, and of course, like I said, we're gonna rewind Dynamite. But we're gonna talk. We're gonna start the whole show off. We're gonna kick the whole show off with Bailey's contract. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, folks, if you all didn't hear, Bailey hasn't signed a new deal yet with the WWE. Her contract is still up in the air. But a lot of you on the internet, and a lot of you on the blogs are saying that she's going to jump ship and go to AEW. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I would really hold off on that because, as I said before, Bailey right now is in a position where she could potentially have something great for her if the WWE wants to pull the trigger and give her some good storylines. Because as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, right now she's feuding with Lyra Valkyria, and that to me needs to come to an end. Bailey needs something else. Bailey is a good commodity for the WWE. If you did not see her stellar match in NXT that she did, I mean, take a look at her resume. Take a look at Bailey's resume. She is really good commodity. And I don't understand why she won't sign with WWE. Maybe she's upset with the creative part. I wouldn't blame her for that. I wouldn't fault her for that. But is she going to sign a contract with WWE? Or is she going to look at the grass is green on the other side? Well, then what do you think?
Well, I read yesterday that I don't know if it was Sean Ross Sapp. I don't remember who confirmed it, but they were reporting that Bailey's said that she's not renewing her contract. And I'm only assuming based on what happened with the New Day and Motor City Machine Guns and um, who else has departed ways with WWE as of late. Um,
Yeah,
I I think
it
TKO
is.
I think TKO is asking these veterans, these legends, to take pay cuts when they resign. And Sheamus was the other guy that recently left. And they don't want to. I don't know if it's a pay cut issue, like you said. I don't know if obviously we're not seeing a lot of Bailey other than this never-ending Bailey Lyra feud. But Bailey's doing really well, I feel like, down in AAA, and she's very over down there. So I don't
Right.
know if what happened with Lyra and Bailey last week means that I'm assuming Bailey's been written off television on the main roster. Her contract is set to end at the end of this year, so she's still got some time left. So are they going to put her on the shelf? Is she going to just facilitate bringing the women up down in AAA and getting time down there while she finishes her contract out? I don't know. It remains to be seen. But
I don't know.
what I'm worried about is I don't know. The rumor is that she's going to AEW, but uh, I really don't think that it benefits her to go to AEW. But that's my opinion. I feel like there's some reasons why I say that. It's not just you know a pro WWE thing or anything like that. I just think that there's plenty that you can do with Bailey. And if you're asking her to take less money, why?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
A lot of TV time. Well, is that her fault?
I
That's
don't
what really
know.
annoys me about the WWE, Earl. It's like they sign these guys to 5-year deals with all this millions of dollars, and then a year into the contract or at the end of their contract, they go, "Oh, you're not on TV, so why are we paying you all this money?" Well, the wrestler is not in charge of putting themselves on TV. So why would you
Creative
sign me
is
to a contract just so you can screw me out of it?
right.
Why do these wrestlers keep falling for that?
I don't know. The thing with me is here's the thing. I hear a lot of rumblings around the locker room, and from what I understand, from what I'm hearing, is that the WWE is frowning upon people's ages and the age of the wrestler. And you know, I mean, okay, if somebody is in their 40s or getting up to that 50 range and everything else, they don't really want to push them. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why this is
Who
happening.
are we talking about?
Um, they're talking about people like Punk. They're talking to people like Rhodes. They're talking people like there's other wrestlers in the back that are of
Triple H in his
age.
40s, AJ Styles was in his 40s, LA Knight's in his 40s.
Right,
Those are all the top
that is
guys.
right. And these people are of age. And this
40
is
is like
why
the new 30. You know, when we were watching wrestling as kids, the WWF golden era, and if you watch before that, I came in the golden era in the early 80s. So wrestlers were going to bars, they were getting drunk, they were snorting lines, they were getting into barroom brawls, they were destroying hotel rooms, they were wreaking havoc on their bodies in and out of the ring. That it was Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties over on my end with my headset, so bear with me. But it was very common, in the during the Attitude Era, wrestlers were dying very young. And
Right.
in this day and age for the last 10, 15 years, you're not seeing as many wrestler deaths. And all these young guys, they're gym rats. They go to the gym, they eat clean, they work out, they when they go home, they just like, they play video games, they do yard work, they're it's a totally different world. So I feel like look at pro sports, look at how many 40-year-olds are still playing at a high level. Cristiano Ronaldo in soccer, Messi's going to be 40 next year. We got LeBron James in the NBA. Tom Brady played football until he was like 42. So I don't think people. Yeah, when you say 40s, it's like to the younger generation, it's like they look at that like, oh, you're a boomer, you're old. But if you are in your 40s, like I am, I don't feel like really I'm in my 40s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I think because you, as a wrestler, you have a lot of miles to you. And what I mean by that
Sure.
is that your life shelf is very limited because of all the bumps that you have taken.
Yes, you're very much closer
In
to the end than the beginning, for sure.
right, so I think this is what WWE is doing at this time. I think what they're doing is that they're frowning upon pushing people that are of in the 40 to getting the up and the jump of the 50 the bracket.
What do you mean they're not
Because
pushing them?
go ahead, hologram. I'm sorry.
No, I was asking you what you mean by what you're saying. What you're saying because you're saying they're not pushing people of age, but of age, all the top guys are in their 40s.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, they're pushing Cody Rhodes. Okay, they're pushing other people. They're pushing Punk.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but how long is this going to go with this rumor of them not pushing people of age? That is something that I want inquiring minds want to know. You
Well,
know, I want to.
I think, and I think when we get to SummerSlam, I think that I know this is the AEW prediction show. I actually thought I jumped the gun. I thought this weekend was SummerSlam, so I thought it would be we were doing SummerSlam today. But I think that even the guys that are waiting in the wings that might be coming back from injury at some point in time, like a Kevin Owens, a Drew McIntyre. I mean, those guys are in their 40s too. So
Yeah, well, Kevin
I
Owens.
feel like WWE's almost like rewarding because I feel like there's a lot of backlash with the younger generation against the guys at the top that are middle aged, and I see the landscape of Twitter and the WWE fans seem to want the younger talent pushed more, and they're getting more push. But I think that every time an older guy gets a title match or wins a title, there's all this hullabaloo on social media about, oh, just pushing the old guys, oh, just and it's like, well, they're not going to be here much longer. Even like Roman Reigns, who's in his 30s, he's got wear and tear on him, and he's got pre-existing health conditions with having leukemia and whatnot. So Roman Reigns isn't going to be around for. I wouldn't think Roman Reigns is going to wrestle past 40 with all of what he's done already. So it's like you've got to appreciate what's here and now. And I know that people want to jump the gun and like let's get these young guys pushed. But if you kind of look at the landscape, there's a lot of young talent being pushed right now, and they've done a lot in terms of pushing young talent this year. Say what you want about how subpar both companies have been wrestling, like performance, like overall watching a show aspect is. There's a lot of young talent being pushed, so that's at least a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here is the AK. How's it going tonight, AK? How's it going, AK? Always good to see you. Here's the thing. The younger talent that we have now is not capable. Listen to me carefully. I'm going to just say this. They're not ready yet. I'm saying capable. Let me take that word out. They're not ready yet for that big overall spotlight push as far as a title contention is concerned. So what the WWE is doing now is trying to push the older guys, but at some point, that's going to have to come to an end very soon because they're not going to keep pushing that talent. um, and in case in point, LA Knight. LA Knight is not being pushed at all. He's not being pushed at all. All they do with LA Knight is he has a run in with Division. They beat him up one week. He gets revenge on Division. So this is what the WWE is doing. They're pushing him down. They're not going to push him. Sami Zayn is another person that they're not pushing anymore. So you can see what direction this is they're going into. And I'm not sure whether whether they're going to listen to the fans, which they don't, or are they going to beat to their own drum and do what they want to do? And it's not working. What they're doing right now is not working because week after week after week, we keep seeing the same things over and over again. And Raw doesn't have any substance to it anymore, like it used to. It doesn't have any substance, and SmackDown's even worse. So, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to change, or if they're going to change their pattern, or they're going to do what they need to do to right the ship. But something needs to happen here, because you're going to turn off slowly but surely. You're turning off the fan base because it's evidence with SummerSlam. SummerSlam is not selling. It's not selling, folks. It's just not selling. The card is what it is. Um, and more matches keep getting added to it because they need to fill up the card because there are two nights. And this is what I was saying about SummerSlam. This SummerSlam is a one night thing. It's not a two-night thing. It's very difficult to do that. It is very difficult to write episodic episode for two nights of a PLE. It's very difficult to do that. So people are getting fatigued. I'm getting tired because I just can't seem to wrap my head around what they're doing here or what direction they're going to take this into. And I don't have the time to sit there and figure it out. So if Bailey is not going to sign with WWE, then. But again, like I said, I don't think I'm going to agree with Hologram here. I don't know if Bailey's a great fit for AEW. I don't think she's a fit. I don't think she would fit in that women's locker room. I just Can you imagine her feuding with Mercedes Moné, or can you imagine her feuding with the Brawling Birds, or any other women in that locker room? Queen Aminata. Can you imagine her feuding with these women on TV each and every week on Dynamite? Like, some people said, yeah, they could see it. I don't know. I can't see it. I can't see it. But I'll tell you this much. Over the years, AEW has improved immensely with what they're doing with their product. And I'm very happy that Tony Khan listened to the audience and booked smaller venues, booking smaller shows, doing the big arenas for pay-per-views only. which is a great model for them. This is a great model for them, and the ratings are coming back to what it's supposed to be. So but again, Bailey would not fit in that model. I don't think she would fit in that model. Now, if you're saying maybe she go to TNA, that's a possibility. I think she would be well. She would do well in TNA. I think so. I mean, she could teach the women in the locker room things and have great chemistry with them. I don't listen. I wouldn't be shocked if she signed with TNA. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked. But AEW, I don't. I don't think so. I don't think so, folks. I can't see it. I just can't vision it. But whatever Bailey goes to, wherever she lands, I'm going to keep abreast of this, and I'm going to bring you up to date and up to speed as to what's going to happen. Um, but now, folks, we're going to move over to something else. And this has been the talk of the internet now for a while. The reappearance of Mr. McMahon. Now, I don't know why WWE is doing this. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't understand it. Apparently, he's going to have some kind of limited role on WWE TV. Now, what that is, I don't know. I don't know. Recently, this week, Mr. McMahon and Janelle Grant agreed to arbitration in their case. So their case is going to an arbitration. Oh, what was that, hooligan?
Is this confirmed somewhere online?
Yeah, I believe it was all over. It's been all over the internet that they want Mr. McMahon on WWE TV in a limited role. I listen. I don't think Mr. McMahon is the answer to WWE's prayers. He should not be in or near WWE ever again. Mr. McMahon is not the answer to WWE's woes. No, no. To have Mr. McMahon on a limited role in WWE TV is a bad idea. Why? Why would you resurface him after all these years? Why? What's the purpose? What is the purpose of you re-erecting Mr. McMahon? Why? I want to know why. Why? And another thing is, would Triple H want to work with Mr. McMahon again? To have that man behind the scenes and do what? What do you want him to do? What do you want him to do? What do you want him to do? Inquiring minds want to know because I personally, folks, I don't want to see Mr. McMahon. I don't want to see Mr. McMahon. It's not necessary. The man is. It's just not necessary. It's not. It's not necessary. I don't think he belongs on WWE TV. He doesn't. He's been gone for many years now. You don't need Mr. McMahon. You don't. I don't want him back on TV. It's not necessary. He serves no value. What is he going to do? What are you going to do with him once you open the door, that Pandora's box, and bring him back? What is that going to do? What are you gaining from it? What do you think, Hooligan?
Well, I said many, many months ago, way earlier in the year, I don't remember what chat room I was
Excuse
in,
me.
whose chat I was in, but everyone was talking, because there's been a lot of chatter this year about WWE, their creative, how bad the booking's been. Everyone's blaming Triple H. And I keep trying to explain to everybody, yes, Triple H is kind of like sitting at the head of the table in the creative meetings. But if you watch Unreal, there's Bobby Roode, there's Michael P.S. Hayes, there's Bruce Pritchard, there's like all these people sitting with him. Well, if you ever pay attention to certain key moments during the shows, you'll see producers come out to stop a run in between two guys that are fighting. You'll see all the people that you see sitting around the table in Unreal throughout various parts of the shows from week to week. Maybe not every week, but from time to time you'll notice a Bobby Roode backstage or a a Michael P.S. Hayes backstage or whatever.
Right.
If you pay attention to like other things that has going on, there's only 24 hours in the day. Triple H can only do so much in a day. I highly doubt he's responsible for creative of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AAA, because his name is the executive producer on all these shows. And from what I've read and researched into, he's devoting most of his time down in Mexico with The Undertaker and Conan and the creative for AAA. And if you watch AAA, it feels very, very, very much like NXT Black and Gold. Now, with that being said, you come back to the main roster and you see some of the storylines we're getting. And you see some of the repetitive nature, like Raw this week is 5 Judgment Day segments and 3 Danhausen segments and however many Vision segments, and then that was it. And then they cut the show off 15 minutes early. And I've never, in all my years, I've been watching Raw since the very first episode. I've never seen them cut 15 minutes early, ever in my life. I'm like, they've got nothing. They're out of ideas. I don't know if there's some tug of war going on behind the scenes backstage creatively, but we're getting a lot of rinse and repeat. And I've been saying for the better part, well, for sure, all of this year, I would have to go back and look to some of my tweets from late last year, but I've been saying all year, Vince McMahon's never left. Bruce Pritchard is still there. Michael P.S. Hayes is still there. You don't think Vince still talks to them on the phone? Of course he's pitching the storylines in their ear, and they're just going, Triple H, this is what we're doing. And Triple H is going, yeah, sure. Because they've been doing it for so long, he ain't going to question them. And his attention is focused on a different product altogether. And then he comes up to the main roster to make an appearance for the PLE because you got to show him sitting in Gorilla. And then he looks over the script and hands everybody the script a couple hours before the show, and we get what we get. And what we get is very, you can tell that's how they're running the show because we're getting absolute garbage. And I'm telling you, Vince McMahon is behind some of these storylines. I've been saying it for the longest time, and I was saying at the beginning of the year, Vince McMahon is coming back to WWE, whether anybody likes it or not. And I'm not advocating for it, but I just know the pattern of his behavior, and he's gotten out of every lawsuit that anyone's ever come up against him with. He's coming back, but he's so old, he can't run a company, nor should he. But he's going to come back. The TKO is going to put him on TV as VKM, the character. And I've been saying this for months and months and months. So the fact that, like, I didn't know that was reported that they're putting him back on TV, but I'm not surprised at all because I was trying to argue this with people, and people are like, they're not, they wouldn't dare. It's such a bad look for the company. I was like, you think these people, if you go do some research on who's running TKO, who owns them, and where they come from. TKO is run by terrorists, and that's
right.
a fact. That's information.
I'm just gonna just say this, and I'm gonna just say this.
Vince coming back is not a
because
good thing.
No, it's not. And another thing too is TKO has a say. They have a say as to what goes on television. Because as you all know, ladies and gentlemen, The Rock is on the board of directors.
Hmm.
So the thing is that WWE has to answer to TKO. They have to answer to them. They have to. There's just no wiggle room around that. They have to answer to them. And when they answer to them, they'll come up with things that make no sense whatsoever because TKO, let me just be honest with you. I'm going to be perfectly honest. They don't know wrestling from a wristwatch. They don't. All they do know is MAA fighting. That's all they know. They don't know anything. So when they meddle their nose in the WWE business, it ruins it because they'll add things to it that makes no sense. And as what Hula Grim is saying is true, and it is true, we're getting rinse and repeat every week. We're getting the same recycle. And I have a feeling that TKO has a hand in all of that. I have a feeling that they are the ones that sit there and say, well, this is good TV. This is great TV. But like Julian is saying, I think between TKO, all of Vince's henchmen backstage, and Vince himself, they like Julian, they you don't think Vince McMahon is texting these people or calling these people on their cell phones, and they go over the script with him when they're not supposed to. I mean, I don't like I said,
The
folks.
Rock
I
and
do
John Cena have both said Vince is like their father, right? And if The Rock is on the board of directors, funny little fact, when they announced a couple of years ago, when The Rock came back and then they announced that he was being put on the board of directors in place because Vince was leaving, I said, this does nothing. So putting The Rock on the board of directors is the same exact thing as having Vince McMahon on the board of directors because all The Rock is there for is to just be a different face. So it looks like Vince has nothing to do with the company. But all Vince is going to do is just tell The Rock, hey, we're still doing this, this, that, and the third. And The Rock is going to say, I'll pass it along. Rock passes it down to creative and says, hey, this is what we're doing. And
I
also, Ari
just
Emanuel has his little hand in the pot as well. Him and Vince both. I'm telling you, Vince has had his hand in the pot the entire time. And
well,
if people don't think that that's accurate, then they don't understand how shisty corporate America works.
yeah, folks. I just don't think this is going to be a good formula mix. It's just not going to be a good formula
Fans
because
will revolt like
you
they did with the Cody Rhodes thing, and then and maybe if with enough backlash, they'll think twice. But they're gonna try it at least for sure.
because there's a lot of tension between Triple H, The Rock, TKO, and the thing is with Triple H is what I'm really disappointed with him is that he used to be a wrestler. He used to be a badass wrestler. And if you look at the main roster
So
and
are you?
all the storylines that he has created, it's just very disappointing because he should know about long-term story booking. He should know about pairing up with wrestlers. He should know all these things. And the thing is that when you do these things and it fails miserably, it's very disappointing because it's like you act like you don't know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You've been in the game for no pun intended. You've been in the game for so long that you should not be failing at doing creative. You really shouldn't.
Can I give you a different?
You're
Can I give
you.
when you're done?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I just would like to give you a different way of looking at what you're saying because I disagree. For I get what you're saying. I agree to a certain extent, but I see it differently.
Yeah, I know. I understand you see it differently, Hooligan, and I respect it. But what I'm saying to you is, if you've been in the game for so long and you've been a wrestler, you should know what the heartbeat of the fans is.
So do
You
you think
should
Triple H
know.
forgot that he ran NXT Black and Gold?
I think he did because if it look, listen,
Did TKO
if
own WWE when he did?
yes, because because the thing is that okay, there are times where Triple H has brilliant things and he puts it on paper and it's great. But then as of late, it's just like the attitude is like I don't know what the hell we're doing here. Let's just put it on. Let's just throw gum on the wall and let's see how it sticks. I mean, you should know. You should know the heartbeat of the fans and what makes them tick.
Triple
You
H
should know.
buddy. But you
Huh?
don't think Triple H knows the heartbeat of the fans more than anyone?
Yes,
But
but
you have to
I
take a
don't
look
think,
at the things that have transpired from what we're getting now. What happened before Vince left? Right when Vince killed NXT Black and Gold, Triple H had his heart issue after we come out of the
right.
pandemic. The Vince scandal happens. They put Triple H in charge for that short window of time before Vince backdoored his way back in for a short period of time and rehired his fired board of directors to try to stay on the board. Triple H was killing it. And we were getting NXT booking, like Black and Gold booking on the main roster shows, and everybody was loving what Triple H was doing. And then all of a sudden, Vince has to go away permanently. TKO comes in and buys the company. And then you start looking, oh, they're starting to run. Now, not right at the beginning. It took some time. But now we're a couple of years into TKO owning WWE, and they are running WWE like they do the UFC and the other Hollywood entities that they're a part of. It's a corporation, and they're putting on TV what they think sells. And part of this, you have to blame the WWE universe. I'm sorry, because if you look at the Danhausen situation, I don't have a problem with Danhausen. I think it's funny. I think there's a use for it, sparingly. But as soon as he came in, aside from his botched debut, everybody's seemingly fallen in love with Danhausen. Well, so much so that he keeps ending up being the top merch seller for WWE. So TKO pays attention to the merch and the money that's coming in and who's selling the merch. And they go, oh, he's selling out every week. Fans must want to see him. Well, let's give him more Danhausen. So, okay, let's put him in more than one segment on the show. Stop buying the Danhausen merch. You'll stop seeing Danhausen so much. I mean, we're getting so much Danhausen, he's actually getting booked in matches for
Hmm.
pay-per-views when that spot could be going to like actual. And I'm not saying he's not a wrestler, but his gimmick isn't really. He's a pre-show gimmick, and like he's a commercial break gimmick. When Netflix cuts to commercial, and the people that don't pay $45 a month to see the little ad segments instead of getting commercials, you're missing out on content, which they do a lot of Danhausen. I don't know what tier of Netflix you have, but if you have the $45 version, you don't get it doesn't cut to commercial. You get to see what goes on during the commercial breaks, and a lot of it is Danhausen coming out and trying pretending like he's going to shoot free T-shirts into the crowd, and then saying his gun is broken or the T-shirt launcher is broken or whatever. But um, TKO is to blame for a lot of it, and I honestly believe that Triple H's hands are tied. I don't think he can book and give us the storylines in the long-term booking that everybody wants. I think TKO's going, we're paying this guy this many millions, we're paying CM Punk this many millions, we're paying Judgment Day this many millions, so they get all the TV time. And anybody that's making jump change ain't getting no TV time. So when it comes up for a contract renegotiation, and that wrestler feels like they deserve a pay raise, TKO's going, we need you to take a pay cut And in the case of like Sheamus and like a Bailey, they're probably Sheamus. I think at this stage of his career, he's got a lot of wear and tear on his body. I can see if they asked him to take a pay cut. Bailey, though, she's still in her prime. And if I was her, I wouldn't take a pay cut if I knew I could get the money somewhere else. However, like you said, I don't think Bailey is a fit for AEW. I think she'll come in
No.
right in a match with Mercedes Moné at a PLE to debut her. And then what's she going to do? Fight Tekla, fight a Willow, fight a Julia Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Is this really doing anything for Bailey's career? You're never going to get the Sasha Banks versus Bailey at TakeOver Brooklyn 1. That's never going to be reduplicated. Tony Khan will try to
No.
reduplicate it. He'll do something like he did with Edge. He'll give Bailey a special moment in her hometown at a PLE, and then it'll just be the drizzling shits until he decides to shelf her, and then she gets disgruntled, and then she wants out. It's going to do nothing for Bailey. It's like a
Right.
demotion at this point for Bailey going to AEW in my eyes. And she's killing it in AAA. I would send her down there for the rest of her contract and just have her do what she's doing with Los Toxica and the women down there. And her interminglings with like Lola Vice and La Catalina and stuff like that. And the crowd is loving it. She comes out to a huge pop in Mexico. Huge pop. She came out the other night on Raw. It was crickets, and I felt really bad because there was a point in time when Bailey was very over with the WWE universe. But they booked her into
Oblivion.
Oblivion, where there's no coming back from it, unfortunately.
No. The thing is with Sheamus, I just briefly said it. They offered him incentives. They did offer him incentives to re-sign with the WWE, and he turned it down. He turned it down, and he turned it down, and he's gonna walk. He's gonna walk away. And as far as Bailey is concerned, I mean, she's a high commodity. And but the thing is, you have to hone it right. And I don't think AEW knows what to do with her. I just don't. I just see her sinking in the lower and the mid card. I just like Hooligan said, she'll have a moment. She'll have a big moment, and that Brooklyn Takeover one match that she had with Mr. No one's gonna be able to duplicate that. You can't replicate that. There's just no way. That match was a 10. That match was more than a 10. It was even 100. That match was so good. There's
A
no
lot of people say
way.
it's the greatest women's match of all time.
Yeah, this was. You can't do it. You could watch the tape over and over again, but you can't recant. You just can't reduplicate it. You can't reduplicate it, and that's unfortunate. But getting back to Mr. McMahon, I'm gonna just say this, and then we're gonna move on. Between this and the booking and everything else, I don't think. I think this is gonna be a disaster for the WWE. I think this is gonna really, if they do this, and they would bring Mr. McMahon on a TV role, bring him out again, we're going to have major problems. And if you think now the Netflix ratings are dwindling a little bit, well, let me tell you something, folks. If Mr. McMahon comes back on Raw, that is going to be the end of Netflix and Raw because no one's going to watch.
Oh, I don't. I think it'll be interesting to see because even in just the last week, I've seen so many tweets for both sides of the coin regarding Vince. I've seen so many tweets about people just saying crazy stuff. Even in other
No,
content creators chats, so many people are, we need Vince back. This booking sucks. And there's a lot of people that are like, absolutely not, hell no. So I'm very interested if and when they do bring Vince back on that episode. It's going to be interesting. The ratings are going to be a very interesting story. It's going to tell a real. It's going to give you a big window into how demented people really are.
I mean, here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. You know, there are a lot of people out there that I've talked to that have washed their hands of WWE permanently. They have. I've talked to a lot of fans who tell me because of Vince and his past and everything else, they don't want nothing to do with WWE.
Nope.
They don't miss it. They don't miss it. They don't care about it. They don't follow it. They don't do nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens here. It's going to be very interesting. Now I'm gonna keep abreast of it and see if
I
this
mean, it's
does
gonna
come.
crash. The IWC is going to lose. That one thing is for certain. Whether you're for or against Vince returning, it's going to Twitter is going to probably crash.
Yeah. Yep. All right, folks. We're gonna move on to AEW's premiere debut of their July pay-per-view. This is called Redemption. And this is leading up to All in London. So this is a bridge to London. Um the matches and the card, the build has been not as what I would like. Not as what I was like. Not as what I was like. I think Tony Khan made a mistake here with this pay per view. And here's this is just me. This is just me. This is just me. First of all, it's in Montreal. So what I would have done, what Tony Khan should have done here, was is he should have had a media campaign blitz. He should have had it all over Canadian TV. Every Canadian province. He should have had it on TV. Now, they mentioned it once on Dynamite, they mentioned it twice on Dynamite, but that was it. So there's really no fanfare or buzz about this pay per view. There's really not. And it's disappointing because, I mean, we never had a pay per view in the month of July for AEW. They usually wait until August and give you all in. Okay. So anyway, but that's just my opinion and my opinion only. Um, but let's go over the card as it stands right now. All right, let's start hot here, ladies and gentlemen. AEW World Championship match. Kenny Omega will defend the title against Kevin Knight. The match is gonna be fine. The match is gonna be good. I love Kenny Omega. I love the way he wrestles. He doesn't. He gives you a banger. I think this match is going to be really good. I think it's going to be very competitive. Both men have athleticism. You're going to see that in the match. The Don Callis family will not be allowed at ringside. They are barred from ringside. So this should be very interesting. Who do I have winning the match? I have Kenny Omega retaining. Kenny Omega is going to retain the AEW title at Redemption. Hooligan, what say you?
If you want me to be brutally honest, I haven't watched AEW, and I couldn't even tell you the last time I tuned into AEW.
Okay.
I hear glimpses and bits and I see glimpses of clips and like bits and pieces from content creators and what I see on Twitter about what's going on in AEW. But um, the last couple times I was on your show, I mean, if you know me at all, I've really been tuned out of AEW and become just desensitized to anything they're doing for a number of years now. And I feel like the more time goes by, the worse it's getting. And I know that MJF lost the title last week.
Right.
Now, what I seen a lot of people in an uproar about it. I think there's a way to correct it. I don't agree. I'm hoping that the idea that I have in my head and the way that I see, because it's just a guess, right? Obviously, and I don't read dirt sheets. I don't dig too much into finding out like all the inner workings behind the scenes or nothing. Because I just like to watch as a fan. I just like to turn on my TV and watch what's going on and pay attention to the storyline with what's presented to me through the product, not like I'll catch like when Drew McIntyre tweets to CM Punk and he's talking shit, like I'll follow that kind of stuff if it has to do with the storyline. But anything else, I try not to watch too much people spoiling the results and stuff early. So with that being said, I would have gone about getting to All In differently. I wouldn't have taken the title off of MJF last week, but I think the end result when we get to All In is still going to be the same. As for Kenny Omega wrestling Kevin Knight at a new concept idea for a pay-per-view, I'm going to have to pass on that. What is Kenny Omega doing? We all know he's in the twilight of his career. We all know his body's got major wear and tear. We know he's probably winding it down, and he's got the title now. And you're going to give us a match with Kenny Omega and Kevin Knight at a brand new pay-per-view concept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I go knock on the door of the boss and I go, "What's going on?" Where's
I
Swerve?
understand. No,
Why
I
did
have
we
no
take the
idea.
belt off of MJF? Don't tell me Kevin Knight's getting the belt.
Um,
Everybody thinks that it's foregone conclusion that Kenny's getting the belt, right? I mean, Kenny's retaining
well,
the belt.
I already said he's retaining the title.
Well, he should, but don't. Why? You just never know what squirrely little, precarious, precocious, impulsive Tony Khan's going to do, because Tony Khan does what he feels like doing, and
No,
he'll do something just to spite the negative, the negativity online. He'll book something that'll just have everybody crying tears online, just because. So Kenny Omega should retain the title, and we should go into All In with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay and MJF in a triple threat match, because I think that MJF is going to interfere in this match with Kenny Omega and Kevin Knight, and somehow that's going to lead to MJF being included in the match in Wembley. Otherwise, if it's just Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega in Wembley, again, I don't. Knocking on the doors, boss. What are we doing, sir?
but I don't have a problem with that match. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's in his home country. It's in front of 90 plus thousand people. And this is what everyone wanted.
It
This
should
is what,
MJF versus Will Ospreay at All In.
well, listen, you know something? You just have to go with the narrative.
That's why I don't watch, because I disagree. It's like AEW is everything I hated about pro wrestling when I was growing up watching pro wrestling. The stuff that I hated, there's stuff that I loved, and there's stuff that I hated. And the stuff that I hated, I feel like AEW has made it a point to be that. And we just get all these random matches. For why? Because two guys had a random match how many months ago that now you want to revisit that? I mean, and that might work for some people, and God bless. I'm not passing no judgment on any AEW fan. I'm really not. For me, as a wrestling fan, AEW has done a 180 from what they began as all the way up to about their third year. And once Cody left, once the Punk debacle happened, once Ego started running around backstage, just chirping and being disgruntled and acting entitled, the booking for some reason just also went out the door, and they completely changed their formula, and it's just really. I could watch it if I wanted to, but I've watched so much bad wrestling, I feel like, and I only have one life. That's time I can't get back. I'd rather spend the time not being frustrated, not feeling like my intelligence is insulted. And don't get me wrong, this is not no heaping praise on WWE saying that they're the better company, because what we've gotten this year has been almost unbearable to watch at times. And there's been some good stuff. Triple A is very good. If nobody has watched Triple A yet, I highly suggest people go out and check them out. It's free on YouTube. Their PLEs are free on YouTube. Get in on it before they start charging people money, because it's getting hotter and hotter, and more people are watching it by the week. So they got some really good stuff going on there. But as opposed for AEW, this match for me is I have literally double-digit zero interest in this match.
Um, I'm going to just I'm just going to just say this one thing. Yes, the product has changed over the years. Has. Um, but the thing is that Dynamite has been good. Has been good. It's been solid. The pay-per-views are as good as it's going to get. And they have been successful. They have been all successful so far, up until this point. They have been successful. What I'm looking for in this pay per view, what I'm looking for is the matches to have great fluidity to it, and it should be highly entertaining. And that's what the audience is looking for. You see, here's the thing: when you have a booker like Tony Khan and Triple H and all these people, you're not getting the same thing over and over again in AEW. And that's what the fans like. They don't want things to be repeated, recycle and repeat. They want to see things popping in. They want to see something shock and awe. They want to see things. So when you get somebody like Tony Khan, who's trying his hardest to give you wrestling the way he thinks that it's supposed to be, you're going to get the spectrum of people that say, I don't like this at all. I'm going to turn the set off. Then there are some people that say, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. So there are people that are not going to like it, and there are people that will like it. So I have that mentality where what it is, and you just have to go with the narrative. Now, it may not be for everybody. I'm not insulting any AEW fan out there. I'm not insulting you. If you like the product, if you like what's being produced, that's fine. I I like watching it. I like watching it because it has been a vast improvement over what we've been getting over the last couple of months. They have sold out venues. They have smaller venues. They're not shooting anymore themselves in the foot by trying to cram a big venue for Dynamite. They do these small little theaters. These are things that Tony Khan listened to the fans, and that is something he should be applauded for. He should be applauded for because he listened to the fans, and everyone is saying, don't do big, do small. Do small. Do the TV small. Do the pay per view big. And so far, that formula has worked for him. So I can't fault him for anything that he's done so far. I can't. Um. So I have Kenny Omega retaining the AEW title. All right. AEW Women's Championship match. It is Takla defending against Willow Nightingale. Um, I think this match is gonna be good. I love Willow Nightingale. I am a huge, and when I mean huge, folks, I am a huge Willow Nightingale fan. I think she's infectious. She likes having fun. She reminds me of a Bianca Belair. She does. She reminds me of a Bianca Belair. She does. Willow Nightingale reminds me because the reason why I said that is because all the little girls look up to Bianca, and so does the little girls look up to Willow Nightingale. So that's why I compare her to to her. That's why I compare it to her. Because if you ever see on AEW TV the way she comes out, and the little girls they all push themselves against the barricade and they want to touch her, they want to look, they like her. So she's a fan favorite with the little kids. She is. In this match, however, she's gonna give Tekla a run for her money. But I don't see Willow Nightingale defeating Tekla here. I think Tekla is gonna retain. I think Tekla's gonna retain the title here at Redemption. Um Hooligan, what do you think?
How many times has Mercedes Monet wrestled Willow? Have they done 2 or 3 matches with them girls yet?
Uh I think it's two or three. I'm not 100% sure. I have to go
I
check that.
think it's 2. Um, it doesn't matter. I agree about Willow. I like her a lot. My comparison to Willow, because of all the things you stated, infectious. The little girls look up to her. Her gimmick is very reminiscent when she comes out and she's skipping and clapping and her big old smile, and it reminds me very much of Hugger Bailey when Bailey had the side ponytail and she would come
Yes.
out clapping.
Mm-hmm.
Girls would go
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yeah.
Willow reminds me of Hugger Bailey, but not nearly as corny and cheesy of a presentation. Like I felt Bailey's was very. I didn't like Bailey at first because it was very hard to get used to watching a wrestler doing something like that and being presented in
Right.
that way. But over time, obviously, I understood Bailey was a great, amazing wrestler, and then she slowly dropped the gimmick and kind of matured and became more of like grown woman in presentation. And I love Bailey now, but Willow reminds me of early years Bailey, and I don't know that much about Tekla, but I hear a lot of people talk about her, so she must be really good.
She
Uh,
is.
I've seen her a couple of times, but not enough to remember what I watched. I don't know if I've ever heard or listened to her cut a promo. So it just depends on who they want to have Mercedes Monet wrestle it all in, I guess.
Um I think she would match well with Tekla.
Yeah.
And that's what that's why I think Tekla retains here. She's gonna retain. And that's what I think is going to happen here. So she's going to give her a run for her money. The match is going to be fine. The match is going to be great. Like I said before, and I'll say it again. Tekla retains. Tekla retains here at Redemption. Okay. The AEW tag team titles are up for grabs. It's Christian Cage and Adam Copeland versus Pac and Claudio Castagnoli. The match is gonna be fun. The match is gonna be great. I love tag team wrestling. I really do, and it makes my heart grow fonder when I see a tag team match. I really do. If it's done correctly, it should be a good. It should be a barn burner of a match. I think they're gonna pair up very well in this match. Um.
Who's wrestling?
It is. It is Christian Cage and Adam Copeland, who are currently the AEW Tag Team Champions,
Mm.
versus Pac and Claudio Castagnoli.
Well,
Like I said,
oh, sorry.
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know who's gonna win this match. The pendulum could swing either way. I mean, if they retain, that's fine. If Pac and Claudio Castagnoli become new champions, I wouldn't be mad at it. So the match can go either way here. The pendulum could swing either way for the Death Riders. So this is tough. This is tough to call. I don't know. I mean, they didn't have such a lengthy title run so far. Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. They haven't. Um, Based upon what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna err the side of caution here. I'm gonna. Mm, oh boy, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Ooh, this is hard. Because Claudio Castagnoli and Pac really deserve some flowers. They're very good wrestlers, and I'm not knocking. You know, I don't know. All right, all right. I'm gonna make an executive decision here, folks. We're gonna have new tag team champions. I think Pac and Claudio Castagnoli are gonna win the titles, all for Christian and Adam Copeland. Hooligan, what say you?
I was thinking, as you were giving your synopsis, I'm thinking in my head which direction I'm going, and it's a difficult one for me as well because we've read the reports that Edge is retiring and that Tony Khan has given him his retirement send off at this year's Wrestle Dream later on in the year. So, with that being said, they could go one of two directions here. They can retain the titles and have some sort of whatever happens in this match can be the beginning of something between Adam and Christian feuding with one another again, and you can start the beginning of Adam feuding with Christian for his final feud before he retires, if that's the way you're going to go. Or I guess they retain the titles and you prolong that. I don't really know. But we're coming into the month of August. I don't know. Do you know what month Wrestle Dream is this year?
Uh,
When it is. I know it's in Toronto, but I forgot when it is.
Let me see. We have All In. That is in August. Then All Out is in
October.
October. Yes. Mm.
So that's not terribly far away, but that's still some time away. So do they drop the titles now? I'm looking for Edge and Cope to retain because I think whether it happens at the pay-per-view or not, sorry for my phone. I think whether they retain or not, it might be too early to get the titles off of them and start the winding down process of Edge, or they could begin it. I don't know, but I'll just go with Edge and Christian are going to retain.
Okay. All right. So we're split, folks. We're split. Okay. All right. The AEW International Championship match. Kyle Fletcher versus Bandito. Match is gonna be great. Kyle Fletcher just won the title, so he's gonna retain. He's gonna retain off of Bandito. Um, Hooligan, what do you think? I think Hooligan is a little busy right now, but so I have Kyle Fletcher retain the title here at Redemption. The match is gonna be fine. I think Bandito's going to give Kyle Fletcher a run for his money, but in the end, I think it's just gonna be way too much Kyle Fletcher for Bandito to even overcome here. So I have Bandito losing to Kyle Fletcher, and he retains the title here at Redemption. Hooligan, can you give me your prediction?
Um, yeah, to be quick and not long-winded, I agree with you. I think Kyle Fletcher retains, but I also think what a great look for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Bandito. Why is he the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion? And you're gonna have it's okay for Ring of Honor's World Heavyweight Champion to take a loss to a Kyle Fletcher for a mid card title. Is am I reading that correctly?
Get correct.
Yeah, this is just why AEW I just see all this and I try to make sense of it in my brain, and my brain wants to go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Uh, I know.
It'll probably be a great match too, but it's just like the steps that are being taken aren't. It's like looking at an empty ice cream. You're just like looking around in circles and it never ends because it just keeps going around in circles, going around in circles, and you're like,
Right.
at some point I'm gonna get to the top. No, it's just gonna keep going up and 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 for infinity until
Right.
you get dizzy or sick or you give up. One of the three.
Correct. All right.
Kyle Fletcher's really good though. Bandito's really good though. I think it's a weird pairing, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. All right. The AEW National Championship. Mark Davis versus Andrade El Idolo.
How you know?
Um, this match is gonna be physical. It's gonna be hard hitting. Um,
How you know?
I'm I'm going to give the match to Andrade. We're going to have a brand new national champion in Andrade Al Idolo. What do you think, Hooligan?
Um, I I predict Andrade. He's caught a little momentum with this how you know thing is catching on slowly but
Right.
surely, and bless him. I um I don't know if I've ever seen a wrestler go between two companies back and forth as often and as many times as he has. I
Right.
think Andrade's done. He's probably done in wrestling because it hasn't worked out at either place. He shows up in another place, one of the two, AEW or WWE. So I'm glad for him, and I think he's going to win. I think he should win. I don't know who the hell Mark Davis is. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. So Andrade, we're on the same page, folks.
Yeah,
Andrade
El
El
Idolo is
Idolo.
great. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and he doesn't get. He's like Natalia Neidhart to me. He doesn't get talked about enough. He doesn't get certainly doesn't get pushed enough. He's much better than what you would think if you just were looking at them for the first time or coming out of during their entrance. You're probably not gonna be wowed by their presentation. But their Andrade is one of the best in the world, so he deserves it.
All right. So I have Andrade winning the title. All right. AEW TBS Championship match. Hikaru Ashida will take on Maya World. Um, we all know what's going to happen here, folks. Hikaru Ashida is going to retain this title. She will retain the TBS championship. She just won it. You can't strip her of it. So Maya World will give her a run for the money, but it's just not in the cards for Maya World on this night. Hooligan, what do you think?
I agree. If she just won it, and I've never heard of her opponent before in my life till you just said her name. I think Hikaru Shida is probably retaining.
Yep. All right.
But why are
The,
these
the
why are these AEW mainstays fighting people I've never heard of at a pay-per-view that I've never heard of before?
because here's the thing. When somebody asks you in the boardroom, create new stars, that's what you're doing. This pay-per-view that they're doing this Sunday is for a showcase. And what I mean by a showcase is that the people that are on the roster that doesn't really get that much time on television and that don't get that much shine on television, now they're getting their redemption. You see
Gotcha.
what I mean? Okay. Um, the double chain match. Jay White and Juice Robinson versus the Dogs. Um, well, this feud has been going on for a long time now, and the Dogs have beat up Jay White and the Bang Bang Gang and everything else going on. So I think this chain match is going to be blue. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be physical. It's going to now. If you are in Montreal at the Bell Center this Sunday and you are wearing white and at ringside, I suggest you change your outfit because this match is going to be nasty. It's going to be physical. Who do I see winning the match? I think Jay White and company will win this match over the Dog. What say you, Hooligan?
Uh, who are the dogs?
Um, oh gosh, now I would. Oh God, what are their names? Oh, I totally forgot their names. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I,
Who are they fighting?
I, the Jay White and Juice Robinson.
They're gonna win.
Yep. Yeah. Jay White and company will defeat the Dogs. Oh, one of them name is Connor. One of them name is Connor on
Yeah,
the
I don't
Dogs.
know. Bang Bang Gang
Yeah.
or Bang Bang Shrimp
Yes.
or whatever they're calling themselves.
Bang bang coconut shrimp. That sounds good over rice. Anyway. Okay. We have an AEW International Championship number one contender ladder match. Jack Perry versus the Beast Mortis Commander, Mike Bailey, and two more to be announced. Okay. Um, I I think Jack Perry's gonna win this ladder match. I think he's gonna win the ladder match, and he's gonna become the number one contender. He just re-signed with AEW, and yeah, I could see him winning the match. I could see him winning the match. I could totally see him winning this ladder match. Hogan, what do you think?
I think that I will always and forever, no matter who Jack Perry's opponent is, I will always side with Jack Perry's opponent. So I'm going with the opposite of Jack Perry.
Okay, and who would that be?
I mean, honestly,
We, I mean, we have the Beast Mortis, Commander, and Mike Bailey.
These are my options.
Yes.
Oh,
Plus two more to be announced.
okay. Well, I'll go with one of the two that haven't been announced.
Okay. All right. We're split, folks, on this ladder match.
I'm not trying to be a pill. I just really don't. I can't watch a Jack Perry anything. I just can't.
Okay.
I just can't.
No disqualification match. The Painmaker will take on Tommaso Ciampa. The match is going to be fantastic. The
Wait,
match is
Chris
going to be
Jericho's
great.
the Painmaker again?
Yes. And he is going to bring the Painmaker this
I'm getting
Sunday
a headache behind my
on,
right eyeball.
on the pay per view. And he's going to take on Tommaso Ciampa. Now, these two men, folks, have been battling one another back and forth like a tennis match. Jericho lost to Tommaso Ciampa the last time when he threw sand in his face. What's going to happen this time? Well, we're going to see. Because Tommaso Ciampa is not wrestling Chris Jericho. He is wrestling the Painmaker. And this is going to be a war. These two men are going to destroy one another on this pay per view. So, based upon what I think here, I think Jericho's going to get his up. He's going to get his flowers on Mr. Champa. He's going to win this. He's going to win the no DQ match. Well, Logan, what do you think?
Um, uh, the Painmaker, that's crazy. That's really crazy that he's back to that. I'm going with Tommaso Ciampa.
Okay.
I don't think that Chris Jericho is in any condition at this stage in his career to really go balls to the wall like Ciampa's known for doing uh, in his tenure in NXT. There's no way Jericho's taking stiff bumps like the way Tommaso Ciampa takes them and dishes them out. So I don't necessarily know how great this match is going to come across looking because I feel like Ciampa only knows how to wrestle one style, and that's pretty stiff. That's strong style. And Chris Jericho's wrestling very, very soft in his later years and only just doing a few type of moves and a lot of knife edge chops. So I got Ciampa.
All right. We're split, folks. And the last match, folks, Will Ospreay and John Moxley versus the Young Bucks. This match is going to be great. I love me some tag. Like I said, folks, I love tag team matches. This is going to be a banger. I think this match is going to be a banger. I think these both men are going to bring out the best in one another in this tag team match. I, I, I just love Will Ospreay. I think he's great in the ring. I think what he does is great in the ring. Um, yeah, as far as my predictions go, Moxley and Ospreay will win this match. They're gonna win this tag team match, and I think it's gonna be a fun tag team match. I think it's gonna be a hard hitting tag team match. I think it's gonna be physical. All four of these men could do it in the ring, and their athleticism in the ring is just it is highly entertaining. If you blink, you're gonna miss something. So, Hooligan, what do you think?
This is I don't hmm. You know how sometimes when you're trying to pick a match and then you start thinking about it and you start thinking about each character and the story and what's been going on with them, and pretty soon you realize that you've thought about it for like too long. You know how sometimes
Mm,
you can think too long about a prediction for a match as opposed to just kind of just going with it. I feel like I do that all the time. I feel like I when it comes to predictions. I overanalyze because it's hard to know what Tony Khan. I don't know. I just never really understand which direction he's going. That's the part of the problem I have with AEW. And that's a big problem why I stopped watching NXT, because I was covering NXT for a little while over the last year, but since, I don't know, I think it was like February or March, I just, you know what? I just don't understand the direction. Like, yeah, I like a lot of characters on the show. Yeah, I like the matches. But overall, as a product that I'm watching from beginning to end, it's all over the place. The directions are just going in so many ways. I'm just like, it makes literally my head hurt. Who was your prediction again?
Um, I have I have Osprey and Moxley winning the match.
Moxley was just messing around with the Death Riders, right?
Yes.
Is he still with the Death Riders or no?
Who,
Did they split?
Moxley?
Osprey. Remember he was
No,
like getting
Osprey.
trained by them
Osprey
or
is
something,
still. Yeah, he's still with the Death Riders. They have his back.
but they're in a match
So
against him.
yeah, they're in the tag team match together. Yes.
So it's Will Ospreay and John Moxley together as a team
Yes. Mm-mm.
versus who?
The Young Bucks.
Versus the Young Buck. Oh, so okay. I heard I got dyslexia today in my ears or something. I don't know. Um, because you have to figure obviously at some point you're going to get a Will Ospreay versus John Moxley feud, because Ospreay can't stay with the Death Riders permanently, right? And then their next pay-per-view is All In at Wembley, which is like his hometown. So unless they're going to do like Ospreay versus Moxley, and Ospreay's not going to factor into the world title with Kenny Omega, then that really confuses me, because I thought this whole year was leading up to All In so that Ospreay could get his hometown championship match.
Well, he remember, Osprey was feuding with the Death Riders, and then AEW abandoned that
Yeah.
idea and had him instead. If you can't beat him, join him booking, and align himself with the Death Riders to train him to be a vicious assassin. So that's what the current storyline is.
Is this match for tag titles?
No.
Oh God, I want to pick Moxley and Ospreay, but I just feel like every time it's a PLE, the Young Bucks win. I really, and I used to be a big Young Bucks fan, but they, through their goofy ways, have turned me against them. So I'm picking Ospreay and John Moxley.
All right. We're on the same page, folks. We are on the same page. And folks, that is redemption. That is redemption. Remember that redemption will happen this Sunday on HBO Max. Pay per view. Cable, home, and satellite providers, ladies and gentlemen. Also Amazon Prime. PPV.com. And other pay per view outlets. Don't forget, it starts at 7 p.m. Remember, that's a very special starting time for this pay per view. This pay per view starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and I like it. I like the way they started the pay per view at 7. I think this is great. We got a long night of wrestling ahead of us, and this is great. This is good. Good stuff by Tony Khan to start this pay per view at 7 o'clock. I think this is great. So, folks, that was Redemption 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about my journey inside Madison Square Garden. Ladies and gentlemen, this last Saturday night, WWE presented to you Saturday night's main event. Saturday night's main event inside Madison Square Garden. It's WWE's final event inside Madison Square Garden for 2026, and this was great. It was a good show. It was a solid show. It was a fun show. I liked the way Jalen Brunson came out and everything else. I thought that was a great show. Everything else, like I said, the match was fine. Everything was fine. I thought the night was fine. Madison Square Garden did a great job, and the WWE did a great job producing the show. Um, my trip inside the garden was great. This was a good show. So thank you to Madison Square Garden, and thank you to everyone out there who made my short highly successful with the views. I want to thank you for doing that. I want to thank you for all the likes, the subs, and everything else, and liking this channel and producing and helping me, supporting this channel and supporting me. I greatly appreciate all of you in the wrestling community, and it's been fun for me. This is fun. Now, the next time I'm going to be live with another wrestling show will be on November 2 when Monday Night Raw invades the Barclays Center. I'm going to be inside the Barclays Center on Monday night, November 2. That is Monday night, November 2. And tickets are on sale right now if you go to Ticketmaster.com. You could be part of Monday Night Raw when it comes to Brooklyn on Monday, November the 2. Okay. Now, folks, now, before we say goodnight, I'm going to talk about AEW Dynamite. Dynamite took place last night in Nashville, Tennessee. It was a go home show. It was a go home show for AEW Dynamite. The show was good. It was a good go home show. It was a decent go home show. It was a solid go home show. I thought they had some good stuff. Mick Foley was on stage with Tekla and Willow Nightingale. He did a face to face. Um, Kevin Knight was in the ring with Darby Allen. I thought that was a good match. So it was a good night of wrestling by AEW. This was good. The venue was completely sold out. Music video venue, and this was good stuff. This is good stuff. Tony Khan is listening, booking smaller venues for Dynamite, and then doing the large arenas for the pay per view. And speaking of pay per view, if you all didn't hear the big announcement from AEW, Full Gear will happen on November the 14th in Phoenix, Arizona. That is Phoenix, Arizona. AEW will present you Full Gear. That will happen again on Saturday night, November the 14th. So that is happening with Full Gear. And the Survivor Series will happen after Thanksgiving holiday on November the 28th inside, and of course in Houston, Texas. We're going to do the baseball stadium inside Houston. We're going to have the Survivor Series War Games. Again, we're going to find out who's going to go into War Games this year for that special. All right, folks, that is going to do it. That's going to do it for the wrestling experience. I want to thank Hooligan for returning. I want to thank you, Hooligan, for returning. And thank you for your insight and your brilliance as always. I always have fun with you every time you come on this side of the Hudson. Folks, next week on the wrestling experience, we are going to do predictions for WWE SummerSlam. SummerSlam will happen August 1st and 2nd, and I'm going to have predictions for that show. Um, it should be very interesting to say none the least. And it features Hell in the Cell. Remember, that's Hell in the Cell. That is Brock Lesnar and Uber Femi inside Hell in the Cell. I'm going to give you my predictions on that match and so much more next week on the Wrestling Experience. And Hooligan, if you're not busy, you are welcome to come down the aisle as
I'd love
well.
to. Sure.
Okay, great, perfect. We're gonna do SummerSlam, folks. Night number one, night number two, and that will happen next week here on the Wrestling Experience. Until then, everyone, thank you so much for watching the Wrestling Experience. Had a lot of fun with you this evening, and like I said, have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy AEW's Redemption. I'm gonna be watching, and we're gonna talk about it next week. Until then, everyone, I'm on call. Thank you for watching the Wrestling Experience. Enjoy your Thursday, and I'll see you soon on cyberspace. Good night, everyone.